Now, very exciting. We have Carrie Allen and Debbie Lundgren here on behalf of BPAC. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's the Bike and Pedestrian Alliance of Clinton. We'd like you to come forward here and show us the Greenway proposal, which we're very excited about, to say the least.
Excellent. Thanks for having us.
I would like to start just one thing if I could.
Of course.
by saying, and this is not the grand tally at this point, but we have, how many letters in there? By my count, we have about 8 letters,
Yeah.
10 emails, 2 text messages, and a petition to 21 people so far, and counting, I'm sure.
Wait, 29 pages of petition.
300.
Oh, that's all I got.
Which way?
Oh, that's the one on.
Oh, that one is 295
Oh, is that all?
signatures.
300, we actually
Okay.
get 300, I'm proud of it, yeah.
And a partridge in a pear tree, no one did.
Right.
So rather than individually thank all of those people, I would just like collectively to thank everybody for their interest and support in the Greenway Trail. Okay? Thank you for all that. We even have one from Jim Monopoly, our Director of Health at the Connecticut River Area Health District, which is very nice of him. So now, if everybody has a copy of the map,
Yes, and I have some for anybody who's here and hasn't seen it, so some of you have and some of you haven't. What we had planned was,
so this is the first phase. Is that
this
right?
is actually the entire thing, and we're going to present phase 1 tonight.
Okay.
Phase 1 will be ending in Clinton Beach for a variety of reasons. A community was not particularly happy with the idea of us coming through, and I am currently having conversations with a private individual about easements, concerning an easement through his property.
Mhm.
So we want the momentum to continue. It's very good. We have wonderful support. We've had great support in the town, I have to say, in town hall. I've just been amazed at some of the people, Sherry and Sharon and Peter and Eric, who have been able to help us in some difficult situations, because this isn't the easiest thing in the world to do.
No, it is not. It's
It's
quite
not.
complicated, actually.
And the only reason we really did it was because Mr. Farmer wanted to see this happen. And the Bike and Pedestrian Committee seemed like a good group to step up to it. We're not the first ones who talked about this. This is already in the town plan. Alan Felgate drew up a map in 2012. We looked at that. We talked to a number of different people, different ideas as to where in Clinton that this should go. We wanted to make it beautiful. We saw no reason not to. It's a beautiful town. We wanted to stay away from Route 1 because it's not particularly safe. A couple of times we have to go there because there's water to cross. Late November, we had our map, but I was a little concerned because, as you see, 90% of the map, if not more, is on the road. And so we invited Judy Miller of Shoreline Greenway, chair, and her co-chair, Ginger Raff, came also. They spent an hour with us. We rode around, we drove, we walked, we looked. And I was, as I said, because it's so much on the road, it didn't seem like a greenway. Well, I went to them for advice, and Judy said at the end of our time together, I didn't realize Clinton was so beautiful. And I thought, okay, it's a greenway. This will work. Jenny Raff of Madison, also 15, 17 years with the Shoreline Greenway. She actually said that she was jealous of Clinton to be able to take a trail from Madison to Westbrook, because most towns really can't do that. Geographically speaking, they just can't do it. Tonight, however, to make it as easy as possible to support us and give us permission to start raising the money and putting this on the road, we want to simply stop at the town beach. And we have our work cut out for us there. And let me take you really quickly through the map.
Please do.
Route 1, at the Hammonasset Bridge, we hope to meet with Shoreline one day and maybe make it safe for us to get all the way to the beach, Hammonasset, the state park. We're going to be on Route 1 for a short time. We've spoken to both Pete Neff, the Chief of Police, and the Police Commission, and they will get in touch with the state and make sure that the 50 feet in front of McDonald's and Ocean State Outlet is safe, because right now we don't feel on the south side of the road that it is. But they've agreed and they're going to help us with that, marking the road. At Maple, which is where the American Legion building is, we'll take a right down there. At the end of the road on the left is a vestige of the old trolley line.
Right.
It is a raised bed of packed earth that is already rideable and walkable and joggable. At the end of the trolley line, we are on Grove. We've already spoken, thanks to someone who was paying attention, about removing that curb and working on drainage to be able to get down onto Grove safely. We'll take Grove down to the town dock. I've spoken with John and Jess of Harborside Marina and Chris of Indian River Marina. And they were both very excited about another idea that this Greenway has that we've not seen before. And again, we can thank Mr. Farmer for the idea. And it's a blue way. They're very excited about the thought of renting their kayaks and their paddle boards and their canoes, right?
Yep.
And making this an afternoon where you get on your bike and you take your family and you can go down to the dock for absolutely nothing. This is a very inexpensive afternoon adventure. And then for whatever it costs to rent these boats, kayaks, whatnot, get in there, paddle around. Whether it's down the river, which is a completely different experience than right into the sound, get back and forth to the town beach. We'll connect to the town beach on bike or on foot, but also now in the water. To get back onto the trail, we will go up Commerce towards Route 1. All of these roads thus far are fairly wide, fairly quiet, and as far as Grove and Commerce, there's sidewalks to a large extent on one or the other side of the street. So it's pedestrian for the sidewalk. We would use the side of the road with signage for the bicyclists. Joggers will be where they will. The intersection of Commerce and Route 1 is a little tricky. We can't expect nobody to park in front of Scottish Days or CVS. It would be nice, but we can't. So what we'll do is we'll take the light across to Post Office Square. And again, we've spoken to the chief and we've spoken to Pete Neff about a parcel of town property back there that can be sort of lined off so we can ride in the back of the parking lot, come along on the river on that side. We're talking to scouts about, the Eagle Scouts have already asked what can we do, what sort of projects can we do. We're talking about beautifying that area. It's a lovely area and we never ever take advantage of it. Then take the crosswalk back across Route 1, cross river, and then come behind Town Hall, another lovely place with a gazebo. People keep their boats here. And then there's a Lucy Elliott property.
Right.
Right. That bit of land it's a tough bike, but it's a bike if people have, what are they? Your dirt bikes.
Oh, like a
mountain
hybrid
bikes
or
and things like
mountain
that, yeah.
With the wider
Yeah.
treads.
And again, that could be another great spot for the scouts if they want to build benches or whatnot, to have a few more benches there. Use that, there's a loop there. Come back out and we'll go back up to Route 1 again, but only stay on there as long as it takes to get to Waterside. Another beautiful road with sidewalks, relatively. And we will use that, take it down to the beach. Mr. Farmer and I believe the consultant town planner, you're working on a grant that involves working sidewalks at the end of that street, I believe. And then,
There's a steep grant that's available that we might be able to apply
Right.
for, so we're seeing what.
Are you talking about on Waterside Lane or on the?
this is at the end of Waterside, because
Oh,
we
okay.
go down Waterside and then around the curve, and then over the bridge, obviously, where there's a pedestrian area, and then there's the, one separated from the cars. And we will go into the beach. There are wonderful trails back there. There are a number of different trails. There's one that the scouts made along the river, and then there are trails straight up. And that's phase 1. We will not ask for any money from you, but from anybody in the private sector who wants to donate. We've already had a number of people who offered donations, and we said we can't take anything because we don't have permission yet. That's what we're here for. We'd simply like permission to be able to take it off the paper and start putting it on the road. And from what I gather, and I've been told whatever you think your budget is, double it. I believe that if I'm going to double it, we can do this for $3,000. So it's
few $1,000.
3.
Oh, 3. That's doubling your budget?
Yes.
Write that down.
I'm very
Okay.
And phase
Well,
1.
we're only talking about signage. Everything's already there. The infrastructure's there. Everything is there.
Well, you've got a lot of instructions that have to go on Route 1.
Markings on the
Markings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's 50 feet as far as 50 feet that we're worried about. Is that what you're talking about? The part that we're worried about?
What do you mean the 50 feet?
The 50 feet of concern in front of McDonald's and...
No, I'm
Oh, you're talking about
I'm talking about from here to Waterside Lane.
Yes.
Crossing the
Well-
streets here, just that corner in Post Office Square, when you turn around the dry cleaners, if you're on a bicycle and you come around, I mean, there are a lot of considerations here.
Yes, but we've definitely spoken with Pete Neff about those. We think that in a case like that, a lot of it would be done with a painted line. And that's
And you've
not too
spoken to the
expensive.
state of what
I
needs to
haven't,
be
I'm
done in
not,
one?
I'm not able to, but we went to the police commission and to Pete Neff, and they're the ones, they're the local transit authority, and they're the ones who have to get the permission for us.
And Bruce, does any of this have to go through planning and zoning?
I have like 20 considerations that I met with Eric Knapp on. I haven't mentioned him at all.
So I think we need
And
to
so-
make sure that all of that
So,
happens.
the funny thing is, when I went down there with my 20 questions, he said, so how come you don't do more with the land use office because you have the same concerns that I have? And I'm
Yeah.
like, that's a really scary thing, because I don't know anything about what they do.
Well, I've spoken to
So I
Eric.
need to go over those things with you. Until you have a formal plan, which I believe should be looked at, possibly by a consultant engineer. I've talked to a lot of towns about this, and there's a ton of hoops you're gonna have to go through. It doesn't mean that these things can't be accomplished, but there's lots of little things that are gonna be annoying you that you just have to get through. I mean,
I don't think any of us would oppose the
No.
idea. It's
So-
a wonderful idea. I mean, how could this not
I
benefit?
couldn't agree more. So what I was gonna
You know, it's
suggest
just-
for this evening is something like, if we're all comfortable to do this, but certainly can chime in here, but I think that we could say that if you're comfortable, that the Board of Selectmen is in favor of your proceeding with your plan to create the Greenway with great enthusiasm. And we wish we had a full board here tonight to hear you out. That's kind of an unfortunate thing. So I think that's the main thing you need. I think at some point in time, we would like to see a formal plan with a lot of the things that I'm concerned about and Eric is concerned about, that these other required hoops that you gotta go through. And I'm sure the police department is aware of that, and Pete and F is definitely aware of that, before we can approve a formal plan, but.
Are these guys aware of the concerns that?
No, I was gonna go through some of it tonight, but
It might
we
make
can
sense
meet
just
at
to put
another
it in
time.
writing,
Yeah, we can do
rather
it.
than go through it all tonight.
Sure.
Because I
But
have,
just like public access areas where you can't actually put a typical trail, you may have to walk your bikes through there and you may not get the approvals that you want from homeowners in certain areas, and that
except
can be a
for
reality.
this particular phase one doesn't have a situation like
Right,
that.
but later on it may.
I will
I'm looking
come
at the
back,
big picture
I will
for-
come back for phase two.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
not-
looking at the big picture of your entire
Okay,
trail
okay,
here,
okay.
ideally.
Okay.
That's really what we want to go through, so you don't have any surprises.
Yeah, I just think before you start collecting money, let's just make sure that
Sure.
all of these requirements or questions
Of
are
course, of
at least
course.
given to you so that you.
Whatever they are, because I have spoken to Eric Knapp at length, and I did ask him about the P&Z, and he said because that this is already in the town plan, he did not see any reason for it. He only said that I should ask for an 824 referral
Correct.
if needed.
So you need to do that before you
Can I-
start going up. But I think you need,
Can I ask
you
you?
need this list.
Okay, okay, sure.
And then it'll come to us and then we'll go to planning and zoning for the
Sure.
refreshment.
Sure.
One thing, if we need to have a formal engineer's plan in order for you to approve it, then how do we get the money to pay for the plan if we can't start raising
Can't we
money?
just use the town consultant?
Can't use what?
The town consultant?
Uh,
Because he's been
Where-
thoroughly involved in this
Where would
anyway.
you think engineering would come into this?
No.
Well, that's
no.
what.
Well, I talked to Eric Knapp, and there's certain things, there's certain challenge
I don't think it's
areas.
gonna be a
That's phase
formal
two.
engineer.
That's
Yeah.
phase two.
But I don't
And he
think
knows how to
it's
cut through some of the red tape.
Oh, yes,
So
oh,
that's
yes.
definitely
Yes, he's
worth
been a
it.
great help.
Yeah. Also, I want to ask you, is BPAC, because I don't know, a tax exempt nonprofit?
Thanks to placemakers, we are. But we will have to become one fully.
Because I
Right
was
now,
going to say,
they're helping us.
placemakers is comfortable, they can.
We are, I mean, we're
Until such
working,
time as you get,
they fly out of the nest.
Yes.
I know,
That's what they have to
Yeah, but any of
do. All these little
little
nests.
birdies that.
No, they've come to us and we've agreed that we'll help them in the initial stages of under our 501c.
Good.
But they're actually listed as a town committee on your website and in your blue book, so you
Yeah,
have
we're-
established BPAC as an actual committee that's been established by the town.
But they need to be a tax exempt.
Right, for the purposes of receiving
Yeah.
contributions, placemakers has agreed to serve
Good,
as an incubator for them.
good. That's great.
How's the bridge going?
Well, we have the final design and
Stamped.
it's
Great,
a matter of waiting until the weather permits us to get started.
wonderful, very good.
You will also have to consider, I just wrote a couple things down, some liability issues for safety. There'll be certain areas where you may in fact have two-way traffic, believe it or not, of bikers and walkers and runners and mothers with baby strollers and dog walkers and school kids. You know, it's fine if it's 8 or 10 feet wide, but in those areas that are narrow, you know, put up signs and, be patient and all of those things. There will be some maintenance issues, I would think,
Yes,
of the pathway itself.
and we've spoken to some groups of people.
Volunteer groups who will pick up the trash for you and things like that. But I'm very excited about this whole thing. Again, we can have another meeting later on, discuss some of these things. We can visit with Eric. You may have to tackle some challenges with inland wetlands, right? For part of this. But,
For phase one, we should be good, as long
I
as
think
we
so.
don't surface at Valley One.
Right.
He had told us there's a little bit of wetland there, and we don't need to surface it, and it saves money.
And also some good news down the road is hopefully we can get more grant money. We want this border-to-border sidewalk along Route 1 here in town, so that certainly will add to this. And again, it all fits in with our
Connected.
plan of conservation development, the whole thing. Pretty tight.
We are.
So I think it's fair to say we need to make a motion to at least say that we are in favor of them proceeding with their plan to create a Greenway. Can we do that? You want to wait till we have
I don't know that we need to make a motion tonight. I think Eric's concerns need to be put in writing,
Correct.
so that they're aware of what they are. And then I think what makes sense is to have a meeting with Eric
I
to
will do
determine
that.
how formal your plans need to be, which I don't think they're gonna need to be.
I'll do it. He's been very helpful. He's helped us all along the way, and I don't see that he wouldn't be in the future.
And then once it comes back here, we can go back to planning and zoning to do the.
One thing I want to make clear, and I think Eric would also agree with this, you don't want to get yourself in a situation like the folks in Guilford did. They got themselves in a box because planning and zoning down there created this box. It's hard for them to get out of, to build their Greenway in Guilford.
We will try not to get in the box.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really, I don't know what they're going to do.
Well, there are challenges, and there are challenges in our community too. There are going to be people who don't want us there.
Right.
And one of the reasons that we're doing this in phases is because we don't want to barrel through, despite the fact that these are all town roads.
Sure.
We want to be a community effort that brings us together and not pulls us
Couldn't agree
apart.
more. Absolutely.
Totally appreciate your coming in.
Yes, this
keeping
is
us in the
great.
loop and.
Very excited.
Making sure we're all on the same page before you go
Nice
too
job.
far along.
Nice job.
One thing I'd like to mention is that Judy, well, you already know that Judy Miller, who is the chairman of the board of directors of the Shoreline Greenway, is here tonight. And I don't know, I don't want to put you on the spot, but if you have
But you're on the
anything to
spot.
add, I mean, just.
I'm sorry, what is the question?
There's no question, it's just that if you have anything to add to the conversation about.
Only that I am so incredibly impressed at the support that the town is giving to this project. I've been amazed as I've spoken with Carrie and seen all the departments in the town being cooperative and willing to be helpful. That has not been the case entirely. It's a new idea and a new concept, and sometimes you have to bring people along, but it is something for the people. The Shoreline Greenway Trail doesn't own anything. These are town projects. Our job is to help the trail link as it goes along, so that there's a connected trail along the Connecticut shoreline. And it's a trail that will be, as Carrie has said to you, have many facets. We have some of it that will be real green trail. We have some of it that's along the side of the road, but it'll be a bike lane. It's had many characteristics, but it will be a link together for bicyclists to have a nice long ride. And you have a beautiful section here. We do envy you, because you really can have a lovely trail the whole town.
I think you'd be the person to ask. What's the liability involved in a greenway that runs through the town? I mean, if somebody were to injure themselves, say on that path between Maple Avenue and Grove Street, what happens?
I can't give you the name of the statute, but some of you may remember a case several years ago on state property, some town property. The statute of liability says that if a landowner allows people to cross their land and does not charge any money, they are not liable. And towns were specifically added to that statute because of the case that was brought. So, and I will see that, Carrie.
I have it.
You got that?
I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
That's big.
So yes, there is no town liability, as long as you don't have a toll and charge fees.
It's an idea.
I never thought about that.
So keep the governor away from it, right?
Every 50
Don't let the
feet.
lawyer. Do you want to come in the front?
We need some money.
That's great, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your presentation.
Becoming a reality
Yeah, Mark, thank you, thank you.
Fucking up Nashville Road the other day. Bitter cold.